Good morning. Welcome back to the show. We've got Lindsey on board, who has just mentioned that she might have had a panic attack once, and she brought up an interesting thing about anxiety. And as you know, this week I'm tackling that phenomenon that I don't know much about, called anxiety and panic and perhaps even depression. So Lindsey said that it's probably not the fear of the unknown, but just the unknown, because she waits tables and she had anxiety over tables. And what was the reason, you think?
You know, I've had anxiety, you know, not knowing how a table is going to react, you know, if they don't like their food, if they're having a bad experience, if they don't speak up about it. You know, it's just something you never know what's going to happen. So it's, you know, it's just the unknown. You never know how someone is going to react to you as a human, you as a server, you as a person. You never know. And I have experienced negative connotation with people reacting to me, myself, and I, or whatever. But, you know, it's just, you know, the unknown. You never know what's going to happen. And I have had anxiety myself dealing with that.
So, and then you said you might have had a panic attack once.
A couple years ago, yes. My boyfriend of 3 years, who was the love of my life, and I had just broken up. Some friends had just come into my restaurant and sat at my bar with me, and I lost it. Something came over me, and, you know, it was kind of a blackout moment. You know, I didn't know how else to react. I kind of broke down, and I'm not a big crier. I'm not emotional, but something came over to me, and I just started crying. I took myself to our employee, you know, break area, and I had a moment to myself, and I needed to cry it out in order to get through my shift. And that's the closest thing I have ever experienced to a panic attack. It kind of, my chest got really heavy. I didn't know really what else to do. So, you know, I took a moment to myself and I cried it out in our employee break room. Once I felt better, I got out and I got back to work, and I definitely felt better after I cried it out.
Huh. Now, as far as getting back to anxiety over, like, say, a table, you still have some anxieties
yes, I mean, I think everyone deals with it on a daily basis, weekly basis, however, but I think definitely being in the service industry and dealing with high-end tables and stressful moments, I think you will always have anxiety. It just depends on how each person deals with that anxiety better.
How would you deal with it right now?
Right now,
like
personally,
tonight,
if it were me and I had a very stressful table, I would either walk into our beer cooler and the cool air helps me, or I would walk outside. And that does help me to kind of metaphorically and physically cool down. It does help me to kind of forget about things or put things into perspective that, you know, it's my job, it's what I'm here to deal with, and that's what I get paid for. But at the end of the day, it's not a make or break moment. If it's not a life-changing moment to me, and if something is that stressful to where I can't handle it, I will get my manager.
Well, I understand
that is what they get paid for, and they can deal with that.
Yeah, I understand it's your job to make sure everyone does right, but I mean, I think people take life a little too seriously. That, I mean, it's not the end of the world if they're not having the greatest experience. That's even not in control of you. You know, it might be the food. It might be
right, correct.
They're having a bad day. You know,
I agree. It's not always my my job, nor is it always my fault as to what is wrong with their, you know, experience with the system. That's why, you know, if it's out of my control, I will get a manager, because that is what they get paid for. That is their job.
Right. Well, that's been helpful. You know, I think you're right. I think a lot of people have anxieties, you know.
A lot of people, they hide it. They try to push it down. They don't want to talk about it because they think it makes them weak. And I don't think it makes people weak at all to think that they have anxiety. I think it makes people stronger to stand up to it, to talk about it, to face it. Because a lot of people think that anxiety makes you weak. And I think if you can talk about it, you're going to go straight.
Yeah.
If you can talk about it, it's going to only make you stronger. Because if you can talk about it, you can face it and you can push past it.
Well, I think that's been very helpful. I want to thank you for participating.
You're welcome.
And if you like what you're seeing and you have someone with anxiety issues, please, this is the 4th interview now talking about the subject. Share these with them. like, subscribe, all those good things, and keep tuning in for uplifting interviews with total strangers. Thanks for watching. Thanks, Lindsey.
Thank you.